Hello everyone, this is GNB here, and welcome to the final video of this year's Hedgehog Month. Yep, you heard me, I said final. You may have heard me say something about a Sonic X video and some of the recent uploads I've done, and then it just never came out. Yep, my planning was off. That hour-long Invincible video really fucked me over, and I didn't have time to get to it. In fact, there was a hell of a lot more I wanted to do this year, but unfortunately it'll have to get pushed to the next. And one more thing before we really jump into the video, I kind of wanted to acknowledge the attention my Sonic Prime Rewrite has been getting so far. That is like the most any video I have uploaded has like blown up in such a quick rate, at least for like my channel standards, you know? And I'm really thankful for all the positive comments and feedback and stuff, and all the people that subscribed from that video. But I might have a bit of bad news for you. If you subscribed off of that video in the hopes of getting Act 2 in a quick fashion, that's not what's gonna happen. I do these Hedgehog Month videos like once a year, so I think that should give you an idea as to when to expect Act 2 to come out. So if you subscribed with the hope that it'd be coming out relatively soon, yeah, I'm sorry, bro, it ain't happening. Hopefully my other content can at least satiate some of you guys until we get to that point. Anyway, with all that said, today we will be talking about Nazo Unleashed. What is Nazo Unleashed? Nazo Unleashed is a fan animation made by Chakra X, released on Newgrounds and YouTube in the early 2000s. The animation centers around a new villain, Nazo, attempting to bring ultimate destruction to the Sonic universe, and it's up to Sonic, Shadow, Tails, and Knuckles to stop him. I love this animation to death. This is one of the earlier things I was exposed to when I became a Sonic fan, and I couldn't be happier. This, strangely enough, was also my pseudo-introduction to DBZ-style action. Because clearly, as you can see with the fight scenes and stuff we'll elaborate on later, this animation is extremely DBZ inspired, and I'm thankful this managed to unintentionally serve as a gateway into me loving that franchise. Alright, let's get into it properly. The plot is pretty straightforward, as I described it just a bit ago. The writing is clearly not at the forefront here, and the action is what Chakra wanted to put the focus on. But it's very clear where the DBZ inspirations were put aside from the action. And it's the fact that Nazo's story of being an embodiment of the countless amounts of negative energy being stored within the Chaos Emeralds due to their incessant use very much evokes the same story as the Shadow Dragons in Dragon Ball GT, which for a fan project, especially one based around Sonic, I don't think is that bad, but it does result in Nazo and the plot to feel just a tad generic. Something I find to be super cool about this animation, however, is how they handle the dialogue. Yeah, you have the actual voice of Nazo, the news reporter and stuff, but I find it so interesting how the dialogue for Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, and Sonic is almost entirely made up of clips from the adventure games. There are some lines that are slightly tweaked and edited, and others, I don't even know how they got.
Even my attacks are useless. I can't believe that bastard.
Knuckles never said that in Adventure. Maybe it's just other clips from other stuff these folks have done voices for, or just some really good-ass editing, but the point is, it provides such a fun charm to the character interactions. And I honestly can't help but respect how they managed to pull this stuff off as well as they did. Reaching from such a relatively small pool of voice clips and yet still managing to convey some convincing-ass character interactions and dialogue is really commendable. Character writing is a bit whatever if I'm being honest. Again, the writing wasn't that much of a priority, clearly, but all the Sonic guys feel like the Sonic guys, which they fucking should, because all of the dialogue is literally ripped straight from the adventure games. And Nazo is just a straight-up DBZ villain. Whether or not that's a good or bad thing is up to you, but I found him to be alright. Especially the more he evolves and the more menacing he becomes, it's honestly really cool. I don't know where else to put this, so I'll kind of just bring it up now. The fact that Chakra X took this throwaway design that was going to be used as Super Sonic and Sonic X and make such a cool animation and character from it is truly amazing. The tone is something I find to be interesting as well. It takes an extremely mature feel with the characters swearing and stuff, which as a kid I found to be cool as hell. But Chakra wasn't afraid to have the characters get bloodied up either, which was neat. Especially Tails, like, Jesus Christ, buddy, are you okay? Now the action. Holy fuck the action. This is literally the perfect blend of Sonic and DBZ level shit, and it is amazing. Long before the Super Sonic and Super Shadow fight in Sonic 3, we had Sonic and Shadow tag team in Nazo. Long before the Titan fights in Frontiers, we had Hyper Shattuck beating the shit out of Nazo. Oh yeah, didn't I mention we got fusions in this shit too? Why? Cause why the fuck not? That's why. We got Sonic flexing his broken fingers after kicking Nazo in the head. Why? Cause why the fuck not? That's why. For the sake of making this video a little bit longer, I'm gonna take a minute to break down one of the various action scenes. The introductory fight with Nazo plays out about how you'd expect for a story like this. To really sell the big threat, you gotta have him slap around our heroes for a good minute to heighten the stakes and whatnot. And it's a pretty cool sequence of events. I like how Chakra made the maximum heat Knuckles attack into a Kaioken mode of sorts for Knuckles. It looks really cool, and I honestly wish they'd bring it back like this. But he gets knocked out after barely doing shit, and now it's Sonic's turn to stun on Nazo, which goes on for a cool little bit until he gets the upper hand on him by using Chaos Control. Then we get the introduction of Shadow in the mix, after he saves Sonic from a devastating attack. And I don't know if any of this was intentional, but I really dig the way they try to use Shadow here. He's not here to save anyone or to be anyone's friend. He's just here to deal with the big threat and get the emeralds. All business, and I like that. He has his Vegeta-like monologue about being the ultimate life form, and even pulls out a gun, which instigates a fun reaction from Sonic and Tails.
Cool! You must be kidding!
Yeah, I'm right with you, Sonic. I don't know why so many losers think Shadow using one of those things is cool. Shadow then gets bitched in typical Vegeta fashion, which leads to Nazo doing this.
Tails!
Sonic!
Therefore, Sonic chooses to react like this.
You bastards!
What's this? Dark Sonic is so fucking cool, bro. I love how they utilized him here. After this bit is where we get into the super fights, which is where things kick into high gear. Sonic goes ham on Nazo for a good minute, smacking him around a whole bunch, even going into a clear homage to the opening of Sonic X for a second. Really good touch, I appreciate that. Then Shadow decides he wants to join in the fray, and then it just gets even crazier. They go blow for blow, band for band. Big DBZ light show and everything. This shit is insane. And just when you think things couldn't get any crazier, we then have Sonic and Shadow basically jumping the nigga. They were out here playing ping pong with his whole damn body. And the aforementioned flexing of Sonic's broken fingers makes its way here too. And then we get what I think is my favorite move from this entire animation. Sonic shoots up into space and does a homing attack on his way back down. Nazo, about to attack Shadow, is none the wiser to what's coming his way. He looks up, and as he does, Sonic lands a nasty eagle kick to his head that leaves nothing but devastation in his wake. And all of this transpires in the first 14 minutes of the 30-minute animation, mind you. And that's not even touching stuff like Perfect Nazo, who I found to be very cool and menacing, and even the Shattuck fusion, which goes so damn hard. Or, fuck me, even Super Tails and Knuckles getting into the mix as well. The action to this day still kicks ass to me. To take off the nostalgia goggles for a second, I'm not going to pretend this is some perfect piece of animation. It very clearly shows its age in several places. You can very much tell this is an animation from the early 2000s. However, I don't really care, this shit is still peak. One more thing I want to praise this animation for is its utilization of the music throughout the Sonic series. This animation introduced me to so many songs from the series, big and small. And hell, even a couple others that weren't even from the Sonic series. Using Divine Hate, Virgil's theme from Devil May Cry 3, for the Dark Sonic transformation was just magnifique. But stuff like the orchestral version of His World, I Am All of Me for when Shadow flips the fuck out. Hell, this is the first time I had ever heard Live and Learn, and it kicked ass. So many moments brilliantly edited to match the bits of the song, and it's so damn cool. Overall, Nazo Unleashed was a really fun animation. Being very dated visually aside, just a really fun 30 minutes of some of the sickest utilization of music, fight choreography, and Dragon Ball with a Sonic coat of paint on it. All wrapped up in a nice little bow. And I encourage any Sonic fan who somehow hasn't already to check it out. It's fun. And I will be talking about the sequel when that's all finished. So, with all that said, if you agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video, let me know right down there in the comments below. Also be sure to like and subscribe. This has been Darion GNB, and take care.